There are around 1 billion different brands or types of running trainers out there at the moment, and about 1 million of the variants are Nike. So how do we cut through the noise and choose a pair? You let a YouTuber buy a load of pairs and review them as best they can. And because there are so many pairs, I've picked 5 of the most popular across the price points. Any more would bankrupt me. So subscribe to the channel and help me recoup my losses or learn more. Either is fine. Over the last couple of months I've gone out and I bought myself 5 pairs of Nike running shoe. From the entry level trainer for runners, which is still not cheap by the way, to the top of the pops elite level for runners, which is definitely not cheap by the way, because I wanted to see, is there genuinely a difference between this price point and this price point? So I went out and I bought myself the Nike Air Pegasus 41, the Nike Zoom Fly 5, not a bad trainer for speed work mainly, the Nike Invincibles in nice white, although it's starting to not be quite nice white yet, and this is more for a long distance comfort shoe. Good old Nike Air Vaporflies, which are mainly for kind of racing, but 5, 10k half marathons is what they market them for, but they're a very nice shoe. And finally, I went and got the Alpha Flies, and I love this colorway, Volt, I think it's called. Had to get it from the UK because it's really hard to get in Thailand. So what really is the difference between like the Pegasus 41s and these bad boys? Well, I've got a few ideas of how to test it. I mean, is weight really going to make a significant difference? I actually don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to weigh him anyway. Alright, I say we go in order of price point, most inexpensive, but still actually kind of expensive first. 41s. 274 grams, actually 276. Zoomfly 5, 272. Invincible, 282. This is all grams, by the way. Vaporfly, all 181. That's like 100 grams less. And top of the pops, Alpha Flies, 194 grams. Look, if you're anything like me, then the numbers, they don't really bother me, if I'm completely honest, when it comes to stack height, drop, weight, stuff like that. But I know people are interested, so I'm going to share it quickly, because what I'm more interested in, and what I think most people are more interested in, is what do they feel like on your feet? Do they make you feel bloody fast? They're the things that I like. So let's go through the numbers real quick. So you've got the Pegasus 41s, right? We know the weight. The stack height, that means the bit of cushioning from the ground up to your foot is 37 mil at the back, 27 mil at the front, which means a 10 mil drop. That just means the difference between back and front. Zoomfly 5s, 39 back here, 31 back there, 8 mil drop, or front there, 8 mil drop. The way to explain it is if your foot hits the ground neutrally, then that's pretty much a 0 drop. There's no difference between back and front, and the stack height is how far you are off the ground. So Invincible is 40, 31, 9 millimeters difference. So 9 mil drop, 41 stack height at the back. Now I really thought there would be a big difference when we get to Vaporfly and Alphafly, but there's not. It's like 40, 32, 8 mil drop, and 40, 32, 8 mil drop. No real difference, and I kind of get it, right? Because if you go from a 10 mil drop to a 4 mil drop, or something that's really significantly different, it might move your legs, move your muscles in the same way, it might hurt them. And so Nike wants to keep you in their trainers. They probably do make ones that are massively different, like neutral shoes, but these 5 that I've picked, you know, the drop is 10, 8, 9, 8, 8, all around the same, so that you can transition between all of these shoes if you want to, because they all for different situations. But you don't want to know the numbers really, or I mean, you might want to know the numbers, but you definitely want to know how they perform and what they feel like, and that's the next bit. So I'm going to go to the treadmill and I'm going to do 10k run, 2 kilometers in each of them, and see what happens. After a long and absolutely brutal day in the sun, I mean literally all day, I'm blown to pieces, I am now going to attempt to run in all 5 pairs of the trainers. So the aim of this actually for me is I was thinking about using it to kind of look at the difference in heart rate data. So do 10k, run 2 kilometers in each of the pairs of trainers. Is there a difference in heart rate data? My suspicion is my heart rate is going to be all over the shop today thanks to the fact that I've been out in the sun boiling myself alive and I'm shattered. So I'm going to look at the data, but actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can feel a difference in each of those 2 kilometers and kind of give that to you. What do these trainers feel like to run in? Is there a huge difference within that roughly 150 quid that is significant enough to report back? So let's see, right? So I'm going to start with the Nike Air Pegasus, but these are actually, they look really nice. That's the first thing. I really like the look of them. I'm not a massive fan of white trainers when it comes to running because they get dirty quickly, especially in Thailand with the rain, but I've kept these pretty pristine because I've not run in them very much, so we'll give them a try first. I'm just going to cruise at around 4.5 minute a kilometre pace, for maybe even 4:45, something that just feels nice, natural, easy. This is my first run back after Chicago, by the way, so I don't know what's going to happen to the legs. So here's my opening thoughts. The shoes feel really comfortable above the foot, sitting on top of them, so like the material feels cushioned. It feels like my foot is really kind of in a nice warm blanket, if that makes sense. It's hard to describe, but underneath, I'm not saying that it doesn't feel cushioned at all, but I can certainly feel the impact. You know, they're good shoes, feels a bit stiff, but yeah, they do certainly feel comfortable. Maybe the toe box at the front feels a little tight, but I mean, I really like the Pegasus as a trainer generally. I've had a few pairs through the years. I don't get a pair every year, but no, this pair feels pretty nice. Okay, 2 kilometers, switch shoes. Okay, what do you reckon? I think I'm gonna go Invincibles. These are like the long distance, so they're branded like the decent long distance non-carbon plate trainer from Nike. So we give these a go, we get these off. All right, let's go. These already kind of feel different on the feet. They feel like wider in the toe box area, so like the piggies have a little bit more room to breathe. Little less cushioned across the top of the foot, but more cushioned underneath. I can definitely feel that straight away. All right, that's 4K. Let's be honest, they did feel different. It's hard to describe. Midsole, I would say a bit more cushioned, toe box a bit wider. Generally felt kind of that they would be kinder on my joints. I don't know how to describe it any better. Moving into the Zoom Fly 5 now, in my head, they're going to be a bit stiffer because they're kind of more speed trainers, but we'll see. Oh, interesting. These feel tighter around the middle of the foot, along the top of it. Definitely feel less cushioned underneath, but I don't know, like I said, I would expect that because it's all about the speed, right? So hang on, maybe they feel different running in them. I'm watching Kofuzi's Runners Weekend Chicago edition while I'm doing this as well, by the way, so if you haven't watched it, you've got to watch it because it gives you that good feel. He's just the most humble, nicest dude. And if you don't know who Kofuzi is, what have you been doing? Living under a rock? Definitely feel myself landing even further forward on my forefoot in these, and yeah, they feel stiffer, but again, I guess that kind of means that they give back more energy at faster paces. So I also just saved my activity by mistake because my eyesight's so bad. Okay, 6K, Vaporflies. Sorry, it's getting dark. It gets dark here at like 6 PM in Thailand, like all year round. So we're just persevering, we're cracking on. So as you put Vaporflies on, you can immediately like feel this cushioning support under the arch, around the midsole of the foot underneath, and the top feels like super light. It doesn't feel cushioned at all over the top of the foot, but it's like, it doesn't feel like it's not cushioned. I don't know how I can make sense of it, but it feels light on top. It just feels like there's a lot less material to run in once you get to the Vaporflies, and I can feel that cushioning, like that squish right underneath my midsole. Every foot strike straight away. Well, as expected, to be honest with you, I feel
the feet feel so much lighter. Obviously my heart rate's now going to spike, but it has been lower than in the other 3 pairs of shoes, and I've just enjoyed it. But will I feel the difference? This is interesting. This is the bit I'm most interested in actually, is Vaporflies to Alphaflies. Before I've even run, by the way, like, they do feel different. I always tell people that have never run in Alphaflies, they don't actually feel like a trainer. It feels like running on a spaceship stroke with a trampoline. It's like, it's so difficult, impossible actually to describe. Even the Vaporflies feel like a trainer. They feel fast, but they feel like a trainer. The Alphaflies don't even feel like that, not to me anyway. Like, just feels like, yeah, you're running on a squishy trampoline that makes you feel fast. The top is light. I am biased because I perform well in them, but like, really difficult to describe. Let's get going. Really, really, really cushioned under the midfoot, and you can feel it actually to the rear of the foot as well, and it feels like it's just pushing your feet forwards, and it's light, they're light. These are so fast. Squishy, 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 squishy. So it feels. Squishy, 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 squishy. It's so dark now, but this has been, I mean, my heart rate's been like low 140s, whereas in the other trainers at the start, easy mid 150s I think, average. So this will be an interesting experiment in that sense. Obviously, there we go, not highly scientific, but scientific enough, gives you a little insight at least. Like I say, I just felt squishy and fast while I was watching Philly Bowden, so winning all round. Okay, the dust has settled. This was the scene of the experiment, so I thought I would come back to it, and the results were really interesting because considering I only ran 2 kilometers in each of those pairs of trainers, I'm gonna first of all rule out the first kilometer heart rate wise because I was jumping off the treadmill, getting back on. So let's say it's gonna take 4.5, 5 minutes to get the heart rate back to a kind of standard average. Look at this, hang on, I'll stand here. So the first 3 pairs of trainers, each 2 kilometer block, I mean the heart rate was pretty similar. Then look at this. Vaporfly, Alphafly. That is so visible. It is such a noticeable difference. And I was running the same speed on the treadmill, so it's not like I was speeding up or slowing down. And actually, you would probably think over a 10-kilometer run, the heart rate would gradually go up. It actually went the other way, to the extent that over even just 1 kilometer, the difference in heart rate in the Alphaflies is so different that imagine what that would do over a half marathon or a marathon. Like, that is pretty massive. And it's so visible. Like, when you look at it here, it's so visible. So with that in mind, it's time to go out on the road, go out on the track, but get out of the house and kind of get a feel for what they are like in real world situations rather than just on the treadmill. And I'm not gonna look at heart rate because I'll be in different situations, but I am gonna look at what they feel. And then after a couple of weeks, I'm gonna report back whether I think there is a difference in terms of the money you pay and what you get. And, you know, after the first round of experiments, it is looking a little bit that way. Invincibles today for a run around the parks in Bangkok. We'll see how these go, but these were the most comfortable from the testing when you take out the super shoes. So for this run, we went around the parks of Bangkok and we met up with Zafir and Vlad. So Mary coaches Zafir and I forgot to record any audio because we got caught up chatting. So the Invincible's marketed as a stability shoe and I can feel why. It feels cushioned thanks to the Zoom X foam and it is comfortable across the whole foot, that's for sure. I'd kind of liken it to the feel of something like the Asics Gel Nimbus or Hoka Cliftons or even the New Balance 1080s, but for pure comfort I'd still say the Nimbus and the 1080s are a bit better. Still though, no real complaints for me on this run. The shoe felt good and I know I could run much further. In fact, I have. Would I want to race in them though? No. Or would I do a track session? No, I wouldn't. But they serve a purpose. On to the next shoe. You couldn't write this. I've just gone to do all the rest of the video and there is no sound on any of the footage I've recorded during the whole week of me testing all the other pairs of trainers. So with that in mind, Pivot
and it'll probably save you listening to a lot of my guff anyway. I'll do a voiceover, make it more succinct and give you the information on all the other shoes. Man, this is life of a YouTuber. Sometimes you just have to pivot. Okay, after the Invincibles, I went out for a 12-kilometer easy run in the Pegasus, and I've got to be honest, they felt good. Perhaps a little less cushioned underneath than the Invincibles, but they still felt nice, and they felt cushioned around and over the foot. They were more snug, which some people prefer. I actually like a looser fit personally, but generally they felt like a solid option for a run like this. They do now have a layer of the ReactX foam and a zoom unit in the forefoot and the heel. And this bit was probably me telling you about our third class of marathon runners and how sign up for the training group and plan is now open for spring 2025 marathons. I'm going to pop the details on the description for you. But in summary, I liked the Pegasus. I stopped buying them around the 37th edition, but I am going to add them back into the rotation. So then on Wednesday I went to the track with Mary, Mikey and Polly. Here's me in the Zoom Flies saying something hilarious. In fact, all four of us were wearing different brands. From the treadmill testing, the Zoom Fly 5s were my least favourite by quite a long way, but perhaps it was because on the treadmill I was doing an easy run with shoes meant for speed, so I put them to the test on some kilometre reps, and the truth be told, I still didn't really like them. Although I was able to run fast, it was still a blocky, clunky type of fast. The shoes are just missing that speed feeling, that's the only way I can explain it. The shoes do have ZoomX foam, but not in the way that you might expect. It's recycled ZoomX foam and it's encased in a carrier foam, so it's not quite the same. I even put on the Vaporflies for the last kilometre rep as a comparison. They were immediately less clunky, lighter and a much faster feel. My pace went up and my heart rate stayed the same, and it generally just felt more cushioned in the right places. It's a shame the audio's gone because I was hilarious tonight, cracking people up. They said it might be the funniest evening anyone in the history of the world would ever have experienced, but as I say, we lost the audio. And I'll just touch on the Alphaflies because everyone knows how much I love these shoes. I use them in all races and I respond very well to them. They feel fast, they are fast, they're light, they're comfortable, they're cushioned. They're 15% lighter than the Alphafly 2s. They've got top-end ZoomX foam, fly plate technology, zoom units. I mean, they're just making up words at this point, but you would too if you made a shoe this awesome. But there was one more metric I wanted to consider before I made my conclusion. And the final most important metric, I think anyway, is which of the shoes when you wear them make you feel faster or make you enjoy running. And you would think I would say this, and actually Alphaflies, yeah, 100%, these are the shoes that make me feel the fastest over almost every distance. I will always wear these at races. But the others, they weren't actually that bad. Each of the shoes had a kind of certain place in where I would use them training wise, whether it be a speed session, a half marathon, or an easy run or a long run. But where we want to get to is if I had to buy just one pair of these 5 that can kind of do it all, would it be the Alphafly? And actually, no, it wouldn't. Hold up. You see, the Alphafly, amazing for races, super expensive, so if I wanted to do an easy 12k or I wanted to do an easy long run, I'm not wearing them. So if I'm thinking about easy runs, am I going Invincible? Well, no, I'm also not going Invincible. For as good as they are at long runs, they're heavier, I wouldn't want to do speed work and I wouldn't want to race in them. So maybe I should go Vaporfly. To me, too expensive. They can do everything, but I'm not going easy runs in shoes with carbon plates, so it comes down actually to the 2 cheapest. It comes down to the Pegasus 41s and the Zoom Flies. And my money, if I had to put it in one of these pairs of trainers, is going to go with the cheapest, because these Pegasus 41s, they can do it all. They feel comfortable enough that you can do an easy run that's short. They feel comfortable enough that you can do an easy long run. You could also do a fast session in them, and you could also race in them. And with the added bonus that they're the cheapest. So for me, as much as it might surprise you, if I had to buy one pair of all of those, I'm buying the Pegasus 41s because they can do it all and there's no carbon plate and that's okay for easy stuff. So yeah, value for money, decent pair of trainers, comfortable on, more comfortable than some of the more expensive pairs. There you go. If I had to buy 2 pairs, yes, I'm definitely adding Alphaflys for races, but that is if you have enough money to buy 2. Now, question for you. If you want us to review other brands, or you want Mary to try, say for example, Saucony, let us know in the comments which brand of trainers would you like us to buy every level on and give you a review of and put to the test. Let us know and we'll do the one that gets the most comments. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely subscribe to the channel so we can help you some more. And you're probably also going to like this video, which I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's definitely going to be here and it's recommended for you. See you Sunday.